Hello, it's Twister Party, and today I'm bringing you my predictions for the January 2022 Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist. So I only recently got back into the game, but I think I have a pretty good idea of what world is going to be hit on the list and what's going to be taken off or loosened. So let's get into the list itself. First things first, they're going to unlimit Performer Pal Skulker Bad Joker. This one's pretty obvious because they put the card to 0 a long time ago. Recently, they moved it from 0 to 1. It didn't do anything. Moved it from 1 to 2. Hasn't done anything. And now this list, they're going to probably put it from 2 to 3. Up next, we have another unlimit, that being Danger NESSIE. In a similar scenario to Performer Pal Skulker Bat Joker, without the whole banding thing, it went from 1 to 2 recently. It hasn't done anything at 2, so they're probably going to move it back to 3 again. The card's not really problematic as long as there's not 3 of every single danger. Up next, we have Unlimiting Salamangreat Mirage Stalio. This card went from 0 to 1 recently, and Salamangreats got better, but I don't think that they're going to suddenly get broken if Salamangreat Mirage Stalio goes from 1 to 3. And they don't really run more than 1 or 2 anyways, so it doesn't make any sense to move it to semi-limited. Up next, we have semi-limited DRACO Face-Off. Because Konami here over in the TCG likes to move things from that are at 1 to 2 before moving it to 3, I believe that the card they're probably going to start with this time is DRACO Face-Off. This card, I don't actually know much about when this card was actually played. I'm fairly certain it was sometime around the Performer Pal Performage deck's existence, and it was a incredible consistency booster then, but I have never seen this in a list since I've been playing the game, so I don't think that people will start playing the Draco Slayer and Draco Overlord cards in their deck now, especially considering that there's a lot better stuff that they can be running in their deck. But if this card was at 3, people might play it, but they're probably going to move it from 1 to 2 first. Now with the actual hits on the list. Starting off, Drytron Alpha, whatever that last part is. They're going to do something to hit Drytron, and I'm not sure that they would actually put Ben 10 or Ava to 0, so they would probably want to hit one of the main deck monsters, and probably the most powerful one they could hit is Alpha. Up next on limits, Tri-Brigade Fractal. So Tri-Brigade has been near the top of the format for a good long while at this point, and because Konami probably wants to weaken the decks that are at the top in this coming year that are not the new decks, Tri-Brigade is a pretty obvious hit. That and the new Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk deck is more of a Lyrilusk deck than a Tri-Brigade deck and would still function with one Fractal, or it could just go to pure Lyrilusk. Either way, changing Fractal from 3 to 1 would definitely be a hit to Tri-Brigade. That would make it less splashable in other archetypes. Up next, Magical Meltdown. This is one where I'm theorizing that the TCG changes their list a bit, or to be a bit more like the OCG. The Shadal invoked Dogmatica deck is not like huge right now, but it is something that has been around for a good while in the format. And because Magical Meltdown helps decrease this consistency and also makes it so that opponents have an easier time of interacting, would definitely help to weaken the deck. That, and they just reprinted all the invoked stuff, so it makes sense they would move something on the list. And up next, limiting Nadir Servant. This is another hit to the Dogmatica engine or the Dogmatica invoked engine that has been running around in this format for a good while at this point. The problem with Nadir Servant is that it allows other archetypes to splash in other archetypes that they shouldn't have access to, like giving Invoked access to El Shaddoll window without having to actually run any Shaddoll cards in the main deck. And even if they didn't have Winda, Nadir Servant is just an incredibly powerful card, as it allows for an insane amount of value off of just one activation of this. Because you can activate Nadir Servant, pitch a Titanoklad to get a Dogmatica search, and then you already get to search something like Ecclesia, which gets another search by itself. So it just gets an incredible amount of value, and the longer it's in the format, the more value pieces that are going to be printed that this card just breaks. So it's a card that's been sort of marked for a while. I think they're just finally going to take the time to hit it this time. Now for the actual bannings. Artifact Scythe. It was either this or Dagda, because they're not... I don't think they're going to hit anything in the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer engine like directly, because they just printed the card. They want people to use it initially. But the Artifact Scythe / Artifact Dagda portion of the deck, the one that allows you to put Scythe on the field and then pop it during your opponent's standby phase to lock them from the extra during their turn, that part I do think they're going to hit. And between Scythe and Dagda, Scythe seems to be the one that is more likely to take the fall, because Dagda without Scythe just searches something like Moraltech, which isn't busted, where with Scythe can still be used with things like Artifact Sanctum, and they're probably thinking that it's more safe to hit Scythe than Dagda. And with the final one, Imperial Order. This card has been on the list in some capacity for a very long time, and it's been banned at some point, and it came back, but I think it's about time that it gets banned again, because this card has moved back into the state of being a problem, where it is a problem to some degree in a lot of formats, because it's usually super sacky if you draw it, but the fact is, a lot of decks just get completely shut out of by this card, and it's not Sky Striker format, so that's not really necessary at this point. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you all have an excellent day.